Breaking news! Something massive is brewing in Broncos country, and it's not just about Bo Nix lighting it up at camp or the defense flexing its muscle. No, what I'm about to tell you goes way deeper. The Broncos just sent a message loud and clear, not only to the Arizona Cardinals, but to the entire NFL. And trust me, after what I've heard from behind enemy lines, you're going to want to stick around for every second of this. The vibes at Dove Valley are changing fast, and I've got details that haven't been talked about anywhere else. We're talking about surprising reactions from Cardinals insiders, a quiet move that could reshape our WR room, and a possible long-term plan for the defense that might just keep Vance Joseph in Denver for years to come. But before we dive into all that, hit that like button if you're a true Broncos fan, especially if you've been riding with the orange and blue since before Super Bowl 50. And if you're one of the diehards, comment, "Go Broncos! We're coming for the Super Bowl." Now, let's get into it. Here's what's making noise in Broncos country right now. The Denver Broncos just turned heads during joint practices with the Arizona Cardinals, and the buzz is real. According to Arizona's top content creator, the Cardinals were thoroughly impressed, and maybe even a little shell-shocked, by what they experienced. The Broncos dominated early, especially in the trenches, putting their stamp on both sides of the ball. Let's start with the defensive line. Denver's front absolutely wrecked Arizona's offensive line early in practice. That's not a fluke either. The Cardinals actually have a respectable O-line, even adding veteran Will Hernandez to strengthen their depth. But Denver's D-line, anchored by Zach Allen, the same Zach Allen who the Cardinals regret letting go, is proving to be a tone-setting unit. The fact that Allen was described as the one that got away says everything about the level of impact he's having in Denver. And what's wild is that Arizona fans knew this was coming. Allen led the league in QB hits last season and continues to be the heart and soul of that front, strapping up through injuries and bringing relentless pressure. Baron Browning also deserves a shout-out. The Cardinals are still kicking themselves for letting Denver grab him for a fifth-round pick. He's now an ideal rotational piece in Vance Joseph's scheme. That same Vance Joseph who was once a head coaching candidate in Arizona and is now thriving as Denver's DC. And despite some bitterness from Arizona fans, many still respect what Vance did in the desert, recognizing he didn't have the horses to run his system the way he wanted. Now that he does, watch out. Switching sides, let's talk Bo Nix. This kid is making waves. Reports out of camp, and this includes feedback from the Cardinals' own insiders, say Bo lit it up, spreading the ball to 9 different receivers in one of his best practices yet. That's huge. Denver fans desperately needed a breath of fresh air at quarterback, and Bo is delivering. His composure, decision-making, and accuracy are showing through, even against a secondary that features vets like Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson. The Cardinals even had to admit, this wasn't just a strong day for Bo, it was a statement. And when asked if they would trade Kyler Murray, one of the NFL's highest-paid quarterbacks, straight up for Bo Nix on a rookie deal, the answer was a hesitant but clear yes. That tells you everything you need to know about how real the hype is around Nix. On the flip side, Arizona had some highlights too. Tight end Trey McBride was nearly unstoppable. Denver's defense, which had bottled up other top tight ends like Brock Bowers and KD, couldn't shut down McBride. That's not necessarily a knock on our defense. McBride might just be that good. But it does raise a question about how Denver handles elite TEs, especially in tight games down the stretch. Now let's address the receivers. While some might question whether Courtland Sutton is truly a WR1, there's no doubt Sean Payton believes in this group. He passed on opportunities to acquire names like Deebo Samuel and Cooper Kupp, signaling full confidence in what he has. One name to keep an eye on? Pat Bryant. Payton reportedly sees him as a future Marquez Colston type, and that should excite every Broncos fan. There's also a larger narrative here. Denver isn't just putting together highlight plays, they're physically imposing their will on teams like the 49ers and Cardinals. The AFC West has long been dominated by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but the landscape might finally be shifting. Questions swirl around Kansas City's WR room, Travis Kelce's age, and whether their offense will maintain its usual explosiveness. Meanwhile, Denver's defense could be the best in football this year, and Bo Nix is showing poise beyond his years. But there are still challenges ahead. One big question is the run defense. Last year, we had mixed results, sometimes bottling up elite backs and sometimes getting gashed. And if we can't stop the run consistently, it could be a real problem down the line. That said, the tone coming out of Dove Valley is clear: confidence, hunger, and belief. This team is ready to challenge for the AFC West crown. And honestly, based on what we saw against Arizona and the recent beatdown of San Francisco, it's hard to argue otherwise. Let's pick up right where we left off, because the Denver Broncos aren't just knocking on the door of contention, they're kicking it in. There's a different energy around this team, And it's not just hype. It's built on grit, physicality, and one very important piece, culture. What we're seeing from Sean Payton's squad isn't just schematic improvement, it's a culture shift. And that shift is being noticed even by rival fan bases. Arizona's own analysts were vocal in their praise of Denver's toughness, discipline, and preparation. And let's be honest, that's a complete 180 from what we were dealing with just a couple of seasons ago. Now let's go back to Bo Nix, because what we're witnessing with him can't be overstated. He's not only distributing the ball with confidence, but he's already showing chemistry with Courtland Sutton and even flashing early timing with new names like Pat Bryant. That's not easy to do against the Cardinals secondary that includes veterans and high-upside rookies like Will Johnson. Despite Johnson being thrown into the fire, it wasn't just learning moments. Denver picked that unit apart with surgical precision. Bo Nix went through progressions, stayed poised under pressure, and executed Sean Payton's offense with the kind of rhythm you usually only see from established starters. And it's not just passing. Word out of practice was that Bo was commanding the huddle, adjusting protections, and showing leadership. That's not the kind of growth you expect this early in a rookie's development, and it's one of the main reasons why there's a real buzz around this being a potential franchise QB moment for Denver. We've been waiting for a signal caller who doesn't just survive the moment, but owns it. Bo might be that guy. Let's flip to the defensive side again. We've already talked about Zach Allen and Baron Browning, but you can't overlook the depth and physicality this unit brings. Denver is molding itself into a bully on defense, and that starts with guys who hit hard, play through pain, and never let up. This group led the league in QB hits last year, and with the addition of Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, the physicality has gone up another level. Vance Joseph, once overlooked and underappreciated, now has the pieces to truly build an elite defense. Think about it, last year, we were a top 3 scoring defense with only one first-round pick on the field, Patrick Surtain too. Add in more blue-chip talent and you've got the formula for something special. And speaking of Surtain, let's not ignore what happened when he faced off against Marvin Harrison Jr. in joint practices. Reports say that Pat held his own, but Harrison did get a few impressive catches in during the move the ball period. That's the kind of competition we love to see. Surtain continues to prove he's one of the top corners in the league, and iron sharpens iron. It's only going to elevate him further heading into the regular season. There's also a not-so-secret weapon in the coaching staff, Sean Payton himself. His fingerprints are all over this transformation. From tightening up media access during practice to demanding discipline and execution from day one, he's bringing the same edge that won him a Super Bowl in New Orleans. He's not interested in making friends, he's building a winner. And when you pair that mentality with a young, hungry roster, good things happen. Now, let's zoom out and look at the AFC West. Kansas City is still the team to beat, no doubt. But this isn't the same Chiefs team that rolled through the division for the last half-decade. Their WR room is a question mark. Rashee Rice is facing potential suspension. Xavier Worthy is unproven. And Travis Kelce, while still elite, is aging. They've got Mahomes, yes, but this may be the most vulnerable version of the Chiefs we've seen in years. The Chargers? They're dealing with coaching turnover and still trying to find consistency. The Raiders? They're in full transition mode. This is the opening Denver has been waiting for.